in 2024. Is China using illegal immigrants to invade the United States using the Trojan Horse strategy? Be back in just a second to break it down. Peace, AGG Nation. This is AGG, your average gun guy. We are back for another great topic. Just like the intro said, guys, today we're going to be discussing, is China using illegal immigrants to use the Trojan Horse Method to invade the United States as we speak? All right, so let's go ahead and get into it. I know you guys have been seeing this all across the news. Every single day, we got illegal immigrants crossing the border. They call it the Southern Border Crisis, actually. And I'm with Texas. I'm with the governor of Texas, Governor Newsom. I'm with all the other governors that are supporting doing something about this border issue. So today, guys, we're going to be taking a look at a couple of different videos that I just picked up, and I want to review them with you guys and give you guys my thoughts on them in real time. It's a little something new for me. I usually don't try this method, but this is a topic that that is super serious and something I definitely wanted to talk with my audience about and get your take on it. So make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Let's go ahead and get into it. But before we do get started, today's video is sponsored by Laser Ammo. That's right, guys, Laser Ammo. So whenever you're at home needing to get some good training in, this beats dry fire training, guys, go ahead on over to laserammo.com. I'll go ahead and put the link in the description. You got the banner scrolling across the screen. Use discount code AGG10. Let them know AGG sent you. All right, let's go ahead and take a look. So boom, as you guys see, some good dry fire training at home. Really, really good product, good tool. Me and my family have a lot of fun with it. I'm telling you guys, go pick it up. And if I'm not mistaken, it's like 199 bucks. You can also get what's called sponsoring the video, and I'm forgetting the name of it. It's slipping my mind. Flash bolt. That's right. Go ahead and get the flash bolt, which it's something that you put in the place of your bolt carrier group. So you put that in there. It's got infrared laser in there. These targets work right off that laser. You can have these at any distance that the laser can reach. It can hit these targets. So you can put them pretty far out, put them out in your yard, spread them all around your house, set up obstacle courses. I mean, it's a lot of fun. Gets the adrenaline pumping. It's almost like training with the real thing. The only thing that you don't get with the flash bolt is the recoil. So guys, head on over to laserammo.com. Again, use the discount code AGG10. Let them know AGG sent you. All right, guys. So let's go ahead and jump into this topic. Let's bring up our first video and jump right into it so I can give you my thoughts on it.
The number of migrants arriving at the southern border is unprecedented. Last year, U.S. Customs and Border Protection recorded 2.5 million instances of detaining or turning away people attempting to cross into the United States from Mexico. So what's the fastest growing group among them? Chinese migrants. Yes, you heard that right, Chinese. We saw large groups, including many from the middle class, come through a 4-foot gap at the end of a border fence 60 miles east of San Diego. The illegal entryway is a new route for those hoping to live in America.
The story will continue in a moment.
Just after sunrise, we saw the first group of migrants make their way from Mexico through a gap between the 30-foot steel border fence and rocks. Ducking under a bit of razor wire and
walking straight across the border, literally laughing at us. mean, look at these guys. These are men and women of military fighting age. These are capable adversaries. Not saying that everyone who is fleeing China or is fleeing these countries are coming here to do harm, but guys, do not be don't be silly. All right, do not be silly. We are at we are having cold wars. We are having conflicts with nations all over the country, excuse me, all over the world. And countries like China, who actually have a military capability, are a real threat to the US. So take this stuff serious, guys. Let's go ahead and continue with the video.
Into the United States. We were surprised to see the number of people coming through from China, nearly 7,000 miles away. Careful, watch. Our cameras, and at one point, this armed Border Patrol agent standing 25 feet away, did not deter them.
Not only did it not deter them, but the Border Patrol agent ain't doing nothing. This is why the governor is saying we've had enough. And us as American citizens should all be standing with them, saying that we have had enough as well. Are you guys paying attention to the news? Are you seeing what's going on all over the country where these illegal immigrants are attacking citizens, police? They're robbing folks. They're using scooter robberies, delivery services. They're doing all kind of things to make money here in this country. And not only are they doing things to make money, but they're being given money. They're being given debit cards loaded with money. Look at how most of these folks are dressed. Look at their designer clothes, their designer shades, the shoes. They don't look like they're having it too bad to me. All right, let's get back to it.
So, how old are you?
I'm 20 years old.
This man, a college graduate, told us he hoped to find work in Los Angeles. He said his trip from China took 40 days. What countries did you go through?
Thailand, Morocco, Ecuador, Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica, Nicaragua.
Jeez. 30 minutes later, a smuggler's SUV raced along the border fence and dropped another group at the same spot. And 30 minutes after that, another group. Over 4 days, we witnessed nearly 600 migrants, adults and children, pass through this hole and onto U.S. soil unchecked. We saw people from India, Vietnam, and Afghanistan. Many of the Chinese migrants who came through will end up asking for political asylum. Did you travel by yourself or with family or friends?
No, just me.
Just you.
Yeah.
The Gap is a global destination, littered with travel documents from around the world. With the help of a translator, we learned a little about the Chinese migrants coming through. Teaching? You're a teacher? Yeah. Oh my goodness. We also met a banker and small business owners. Some of the migrants made a grueling journey through Central America with dusty backpacks. But we noticed middle-class migrants from China arriving with rolling bags. They told us they took flights all the way to Mexico. Some flew from China to Ecuador because it doesn't require a visa for Chinese nationals, then took flights to Tijuana, Mexico.
We cannot be serious. We cannot be serious here in this country about defending our borders and our nation if we are allowing this to happen day in and day out. This is literally a joke. This is a joke. This is a joke here. I can't believe that we got CNN covering this, showing you how they're just walking across the border without nothing. They're not even deterred. They're not even deterred to do it. These are again capable people. Remember this, guys. These are capable people. A lot of us here in the United States have had an arrogant stance about being invaded, always taking the stance that we'll never be invaded. Nobody's crazy enough to invade us. Well, maybe not an army, maybe not a standing army. Maybe a standing army may not be crazy enough to wage a land assault here on the United States. However, using a Trojan horse strategy, getting folks in here, getting them able to, putting them in jobs, putting them in particular industries where they can disrupt our infrastructure, our electrical grid. There's so much more than just thinking that an army is going to fly over here with planes and tanks and drop bombs. It's a lot more to that. So, guys, let's get back to this. This is this highly disturbing, highly disturbing.
Migrants told us they connected with smugglers, or what they call snakeheads, in Tijuana. And they each paid them about $400 for the hour-long drive that ended here at the Gap. Why did you decide to come to the United States?
为什么要离开中国？为什么要来美国？
在那边不好过，在家里面不好过，
Oh, it's hard to live there.
找工作很难找，现在。
Hard to find jobs.
What did you do? Did you work in China?
以前是在厂里面上班，现在厂里面都不好
Work in the
做。
factory, but now it's hard to work in the factory.
Was this a trip
很多
expensive?
厂都倒闭了。
这次来就花很多钱啊。对啊。
She said it was, and that she sold her house to cover the $14,000 cost of her trip to the U.S. Last year, U.S. Customs and Border Protection reported 37,000 Chinese citizens were apprehended crossing illegally from Mexico into the U.S. That's 50 times more than 2 years earlier. Many of the migrants told us they made the journey to escape China's increasingly repressive political climate and sluggish economy. This 37-year-old woman said China's COVID lockdown destroyed her childcare business. She left her 2 young children with family at home. And why did you decide to come to the United States?
要决定要来美国。
因为很多原因嘛。
Many reasons.
For work or?
是为了工作呢，还是为了什么
不完全是为了工作。
？Not entirely.
Okay, what reasons?
是其他原因呢？
想说啥就说啥吗？
可以。
自由吧。
Freedom.
Freedom.
Again, listen, I'm not trying to sound cruel, not trying to sound cruel at all, not trying to sound cruel at all here. But guys, listen, these are stories they could have come up with. I mean, we're dealing with a country that has done everything in its capability to disrupt the United States. So do you think that they're not sending people over here to do the exact same thing from the inside? Trust me, guys, this is crazy. So these stories about losing their businesses behind the COVID, I mean, that's horrible. That's sad. Lots of people lost their businesses. I mean, this is tragic. Those things happen. However, does that mean that because these things have happened, that United States is now the sanctuary country for all other nations to just come on here, use our resources, use our land, get put to the front of the line when it comes to getting resources and assistance before even citizens and even veterans in our own country? Crazy. Let's get back to it.
We wondered how all of these migrants knew about this particular entryway into California. The answer was in their hands.
Know about that? Oh, Douyin. Okay, TikTok.
Oh, you learned on TikTok. Yeah. TikTok is a social media platform created in China. The post we found had step-by-step instructions for hiring smugglers and detailed directions to that hole we visited.
They learned on TikTok. My goodness, we are laughing stocks. They learned on TikTok, guys. This is going around on TikTok, and TikTok is a Chinese company. And again, I'm not against free enterprise. I don't care where your country is or where you're from, open market, that's all great. However, we got to understand that us here in the United States do not have a clue about how the Chinese government works, or how communism works, or how their government works. We have no clue. So just understand that our ideas don't go into their actual system. So we have a lot of we're very idealistic here in the United States about how things should be, or about human rights, about all those good things. And those things are huge. They're very important. But how we go about providing it for the world, I believe that we're very idealistic about that. So let's get back to this video. Let's take a look.
Were struck by just how orderly and routine it all seemed. The migrants walked about a half-mile down a dirt road and waited in line for U.S. Border Patrol to arrive so they could surrender. How much property do you have here? The land they're waiting on is owned by 75-year-old Jerry Schuster, a retiree. The whole world seems to know there's a way in and it's on your property.
They're all doing this. They're all doing this. When they come over here, they come with the suitcases. They come prepared with the computers, just like they got off on a Norwegian cruise ship yesterday.
Schuster owns 17 acres just north of the border fence and a quarter-mile outside of Yakumba Hot Springs, California. Population 540. You're an immigrant yourself.
Yes.
Where did you come from?
I come from Yugoslavia, and I left Yugoslavia. I went to Austria. I stayed there 8 months, and I knocked on this door. I didn't bust the door down to come over here.
You came through the front door.
I came through the front door.
And what do you think about this?
They don't care. They come through their whole, like, they come into their own country over here, and nobody do nothing about it.
Schuster says it all started in May. He went to investigate some smoke coming from his property and found migrants burning trees to stay warm. Today, his property looks like a messy moonscape, littered with the trash and tents migrants have left behind. Have you ever just yelled, "Get out of here"?
Well, they say that was like 4 months ago. There was 8 guys start knocking my trees and start burning my trees on the other side. So I told them, please don't do that. Please don't. They start surrounding me. I went home and I got my gun and I shoot in the air. They arrest me.
They arrested you?
Yeah, they arrested me.
On your property?
Yeah, on my property. Yeah, just because I asked them not to burn the trees, not to knock the fences, and they arrest me. They put me in a police car and just protected my own land.
Yeah. Schuster wasn't charged, but his gun was confiscated.
All right. Crazy. How in the hell is this guy who owns this land being arrested for trying to get people off of his property? It's his property. And then, did you hear the big kicker? These people confiscated his gun. He didn't get any charges, but he got his guns confiscated. He got his guns confiscated. He got his guns confiscated. Guys, are you not putting this together? Are you not seeing what is happening right before our eyes? With us as U.S. citizens, we have to stand on our 2A rights. We have to stand with we cannot falter at all. These rights are not to be infringed upon, because the moment that we are all disarmed, we're powerless. So do never give up those rights, guys. Never give up those rights. Let's get back to it.
If you had to guess, how many migrants do you think you've seen come through here?
Maybe 3,000 a week.
3,000 a week?
I would say that, yes. Because this is an ongoing deal.
About 2 hours after these migrants arrived, we saw the Border Patrol pull up, broadcasting recorded instructions in Mandarin. The migrants were driven to a detention facility near San Diego, where they are given background checks. Some are interviewed. Typically, within 72 hours, they are released into the United States and can begin the process of filing an asylum claim. Jacqueline Ariano has volunteered on the border for 8 years, offering humanitarian aid to migrants.
So I'm a native Spanish speaker. I have been able to rely on being bilingual in doing this work for the duration that I have been doing it. And in this past year, I mean, there's been times that I've come to the sites and not spoken to a single Spanish speaker.
She relies on translation apps to communicate with Chinese migrants. These people want to be picked up by Border Patrol. Why isn't this happening at a port of entry?
That would definitely be the ideal situation, and people would much prefer to do so. Would definitely be much safer and more efficient. Unfortunately, there are barriers to people being able to seek asylum at a port of entry.
One barrier is the phone app called CBP-1. Asylum seekers are supposed to use the app to make an appointment to enter the U.S. through a legal border crossing. As we saw last spring in Juarez, Mexico, the system is glitchy.
Oh, yeah, and it gets stuck, right?
One opportunity at 9 o'clock, no more. 5 minutes.
Volunteers who work with migrants told us there's still a 3 to 4 month wait to secure an appointment at a border crossing.
So is this a shortcut?
It's really like the only one that they have. I don't even know that they would consider it a shortcut.
For years, millions of Chinese entered the U.S. with a visa that allowed them to visit, work, or study. But in the last few years, those visas have been increasingly difficult to secure as tensions between the two countries have grown. In 2016, the U.S. granted 2.2 million temporary visas to Chinese nationals. In 2022, it was just 160,000.
So a lot of these folks may have come on.
Tammy Lin is an immigration attorney and has worked with clients from China for nearly 2 decades.
If someone's not granted asylum here, will China then say, okay, yes, we'll take them back?
I haven't seen that happen, really. I think even back to 2008, a lot of the Chinese nationals that had failed asylum cases weren't able to get passports to be put on the plane to be sent back. So we can't send you back.
Based on our review of data from Immigration and Customs Enforcement, there are at least 36,000 Chinese who have been ordered by U.S. courts to leave the country. But China is notorious for not taking back its citizens, and the U.S. can't force China to accept them.
So they can't force China to accept them, but they can force the U.S. citizens to accept them. Right. That makes a whole lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense.
What happens if they have a failed claim, but they can't go back to China?
That's a very good question. They're stuck in this limbo.
According to the Department of Justice, last year, 55% of Chinese migrants were granted asylum, compared to 14% for every other nationality. With the odds in their favor and a phone to guide them, there's little to discourage more Chinese migrants from coming through the gap near Jerry Schuster's place.
All right, guys, as you can see, I mean, that's enough of that one. That's enough of that one. This is crazy. Completely crazy. Get that one off. All right, so guys, if you're not out there training, getting you some gear, walking around with it, training in it, doing some exercising with it, jogging in it, running in it, doing some jumping jacks, you don't have one of these and a lot of these, you need to go get some. You need to go get it, and you need to go train, and you need to take it serious, because this is not a joke. If you guys can't tell, we have a threat that's actually in our backyard, guys. These guys didn't have to sneak, through the front, break in through the front door or bust through the front door. They've literally just snuck through the back door because we left it wide open. All right, let's take a look at one more quick video, guys, before I get you out of here for today.
Mental package is important, particularly to ward off the dominance that we continue to see from communist China.
Right. And these compact states, it's $2.4 billion over 20 years. But the other issue, of course, is the border, as you've talked about, because across that border, we are seeing Chinese soldiers come across. And really what we're talking about is China putting together the infrastructure in the U.S. to attack the U.S. So clearly we've got to secure that border, or we're going to be fighting on our own soil.
Well, it's just incredible to me that this administration refuses to acknowledge all these Chinese nationals that are coming through the border. They're creating a little mini army, and I'm wondering what the point is here. Are they trying to put people in place, I'm talking about communist China, so that when and if Donald Trump wins, they can create havoc in the streets and become saboteurs, starting wildfires and propaganda?
Absolutely. That lab in Reedley, California, the secret Chinese biological weapons facility, that can't be the only one that China has. And then you put together these images of recent Chinese migrants coming into the U.S. less than 3 weeks, taking target practice with sniper rifles and pistols. So really what we...
All right, guys, we got illegal Chinese immigrants coming across the border, and within days, weeks, they're being seen taking target practice with sniper rifles and pistols. First of all, where did they get those pistols and sniper rifles in the first place? How did they come over here, get access to that, so they can run around and train when we got a process here for citizens to have to go through the purchase of firearm? So how did they obtain this in the first place? And how do we have knowledge of it as a nation and there's nothing being done about it? Crazy, crazy, and crazy. Now, let me also say one thing. This lady is saying that when these, this could be a threat. They're both saying this could be a threat. And he's saying definitely that, these Chinese immigrants, illegal immigrants that are coming through, some of them could be definitely a threat. And let's break it down on a, basic level. How many 20-man cells do you think it would take to disrupt a small town, so to speak? It wouldn't take that many. All right, how about a whole segment of a city? It wouldn't take that many again, because again, these are people who are coming in on the offense. Anytime you're on you've got to take defense, you're a step behind. So just know that they're coming in with the offense. They probably have mapped out, scoped out, Google mapped our communities, our areas. They know it like the back of their hands. They know exactly where power plants are, water supplies, power grids, all the things that are needed for a city or a town or a government to function can be easily disrupted if not protected. Let's get back to it. Let's wrap this up.
We have here is the makings of a Chinese army, not in China, but in the United States itself. And the Biden administration is not tracking these people.
This is incredibly disturbing. And you said, Charlie, I know you just wrote a piece on this. If you are running from persecution, the first thing you want to do is make sure that you have a place to live and you want to be safe. You're not exactly going to go pick up a rifle and start doing target practice, are you?
No, and we're hearing over the last week when we talked about this last, there are more and more reports of Chinese taking target practice in the U.S. So it's not just the ones that we saw in those images, it's also in Idaho.
It's unbelievable. The Wall Street Journal is out with a report titled "China's Shipyards Are Ready for a Protracted War. America's Aren't." They write this: while Chinese shipyards are thriving and primed to build at wartime rates, U.S. shipbuilding is in disarray, according to
guys, we got to get it together. We got to get it together. Our defensive spending has got to be increased a little bit. We've got to get ahead with tech. We got to catch up with technology. Yes, we did have a great reign or a great time period where the United States was way ahead of all of the nations with capability, as far as military capability. But guys, it's a lot of folks out there, a lot of nations who are catching up. They might not have the full might, but they have a lot of the technology to disrupt our nation. All right, guys. So I'm gonna wrap this one up, man. What do you think? Is the United States being invaded as we speak right now by China using a Trojan horse strategy? Let me know down in the comments, guys. So remember, this has been AGG, the average gun guy. Stay out there, stay training, stay safe, and stay free.